Hello, hello, one and all. Thank you for joining me. I'm Helene with Cabin Fever Crochet, my yarn happy little getaway. So today, I just want to have a little share, show and tell, updates, talk about craft fair that I did recently and another town fair that's coming up that I decided to do after learning a little bit more about it, and some recent makes and a hat preview. I'll give you a little hint. But I want to just relax, have a nice little visit together for a few, because I had kind of one of those afternoons. You know, when you just work and you try hard and everything to come together, and it doesn't. There's just one obstacle after another, where it can become a very trying day. It just happens in life. You know, the little things that kind of poke at you. And I found myself getting a little irritable and aggravated at everything. And it's like, oh, well, what's the point? It's not going to change it. It's just going to get me riled up, and I still have to deal with it. But do you ever have one of those days where just things just aggravate you and get under your skin? And I thought for the most part, those kinds of days were behind me with my personal change of season, but apparently not. It's the gift that keeps on giving no matter what. And I think it's just about how we handle it, how we think about things, how we deal with it, because on the whole scope of life, the little things, it's just little stuff, small stuff. It gets resolved. It's not the big picture. It's not going to, make or break our world. And more things that are more important and, really deserve our attention and that are life-changing for people. So it's kind of creating that balance, putting it all in perspective. So I thought, okay, I've got to just take a few minutes off here and pop in and say hello and show you what I have going on. It's really easy, and it's a matching hat to the recent Dreamy Fingerless gloves, and I really like the pattern. It's quick and easy, and if you need a quick gift. So I'm going to show you a few here, just a little preview, and then I have a couple more that I will show in the actual tutorial, and that way you can get close up and you can really see the stitches better and how it acts in different gauge yarns and hats, because as usual I always like to try to show a variety, so that way you have more options, things to choose from, yarn that you have or that's available to you or that you like to work with, and whether you're making it for yourself, someone else, different head sizes, down to the wee ones. So I would like to tell you about a holiday fair that I did 2 weeks ago, and it was absolutely wonderful. And after doing a craft show at a school, I did a different school this year, I tried one last year and I had the same experience. I decided it's just not for me, that wasn't enough vendor support, enough signage, advertising, take your money, charge full price for a booth, and there was a lot of things that just were not up to par, and then oversaturated with the market of similar categories, and just not enough to go around. So I'm gearing more towards I don't want to say specialized, but that has more of a community involvement, so that everyone that participates has a stake and an input into it to make it really great and successful and fun for everyone, not just the businesses and the vendors, but all the people that come to attend too. And this was it. And for a small town event, it was fantastic. And I mean small town. One stoplight going through town, and this was down the little main street, which is about 3 blocks long. Old Western town with the mountains and hills and all the pine trees meets kind of a new breed of artsy people coming in. And it's a really nice mix, but still keeping that small town, hometown feeling. And it's just like stepping into a Norman Rockwell painting, especially at night. The way it was decorated and festive, and all the businesses participated. And some of the older buildings that are two-story had all their, like the electric candle lights that were in each window. It was just so quaint, and strolling up and down the street. And my husband and I went the night before to unload and set up, and he helped, sort of. It's hard, you know, like people want to go, oh, do you need help, do you need help? And it's great with the tables and the lifting of stuff, but it's just like, even if you haven't done craft shows, if you pack for any reason to go on a trip, or if you've moved or whatever, you know that things have to kind of go in a certain order and organized, and you know what's what, so that when you go to unpack it, you have some type of order to it. And it's, for me, it only fits in my car a certain way, and that's how it has to be. But he hung out, and it was fun, and we had a bite to eat across the street, and strolled up and down, watched the people before it was time. And so there's some really neat new businesses coming in that are really geared more artsy, and there's a bistro, and then now an artisan pizza. They do really nice little specialty pizzas, and really nice salads, things like that, and cute little shops too. So I want to show you the flyers, because the president who put this together for the craft fair portion is a president of the farmers market that I do seasonally, and I thought, okay, yeah, I want to get into this one, because if it's anything like how the market is run, it has to be good, as far as it's just very, very well organized, attention to detail, a lot of consideration for the vendors. They really welcome our input, and they put a lot into beautiful signage, big banners that were up weeks before, not like 5 minutes after the show starts. You know, we'll just stick one little handwritten one up at the corner there and hope people show. No. And it benefits everyone, which is really nice. And that's what I like so much about it, too, that it was so well done. And we all had fun, and people were really, really nice. And it was such a constant flow of people. It came from up north, out in the rain, on a cold, rainy day. And here, it starts getting dark. I mean, the sun's setting now about 4 o'clock. We have less than 9 hours of daylight in the winter time. But and unfortunately, it's opposite in the summer solstice. I mean, it just stays late, really late, and it starts getting light before the chickens, kind of thing. So that's pretty nice. But I wanted to show you our flyer, and I was on the planning committee for this, so that was really fun, and it's nice. They welcome new input and everything. And there is our farmers market logo, and for this holiday fair, they put a little bit of holly and berries on there. And I was given several of these. I put them around town. So this is for the craft fair portion. As I said, the whole town was involved in a little downtown. So this is on card stock. And these were all over the businesses, downtown, inside the restaurants. Couldn't miss it. Big, big banners coming and going out of town. Because going through the center of town, which passes the park where we do the market, it's the highway, the state highway, that comes through town, so everything narrows, and you just have 2 lanes, and it slows to a crawl. Speed limit's 25 miles an hour, so you can't miss it. And that's what's so great. It's like the farmers market we do, the park is just like boom, right there. So that's going through the center of town, and then Main Street is off to the side. So the market, they rented a building for the one day so we could be in the middle of everything. And maybe 1 or 2 5-minute lulls, that was it. No crochet time, barely, a little break to the restroom. it was a lot of energy, up and down on my feet, engaging with people, explaining stuff, taking orders, doing the credit card thing. I was so wiped out the next day and a little bit the day after. I mean, like tired, sore on the concrete from head to toe. But I'm not complaining. I'm just saying it was a lot of energy, but well worth it. I was amazed for a small town because people do come from all over, and it's maybe an hour to the Canadian border or thereabouts, something like that. And we got people from south of us. And then I signed up for another event in January, mid-January. Yeah, can you believe that? After the holidays, I thought, they're having a craft fair too, really? Aren't people kind of shopped out, done spending by then? And the person I talked with, a nice lady that I met at the school show, and she's like, oh no, you know, it really gives some people something to look forward to. They have outdoor, yes, in January, and indoor events. And it's a whole, again, community thing. It's sponsored by the Chamber of Commerce. Or excuse me, no, it's put on by the Chamber of Commerce. It's sponsored by the Kiwanis. And again, you have multiple entities participating. So it's not just going to benefit one. So I signed up late, and I'm going to be in the hallway. I have an 8 by 12. That will be interesting. But what I've heard, and that was from my neighbors, is that she actually requests it because after the outdoor events, people come in freezing, and she said you get droves of people. And to get to the indoor events, everyone has to walk down the hallway. So it's a lot of visibility and exposure, and when people come in from outside freezing, they want things to help keep them warm. So, hey, I'm going to give it a go. I'm going to scale way down on the jewelry, bring just a couple things, maybe those crocheted bracelets, and then something else, maybe, you know, a few earrings or whatever, but mostly I'm going to focus on the winter weather stuff rather than so much gifts. But, you know, people buy gifts year round, so you never know. I'm not going to prejudge or pre-limit, but I want to make it easier on myself too, because the sidewalks could be icy, and I don't want to have 10 tons of stuff to load and unload. And they only give us an hour in the morning to unload and set up before it starts, so I do need to simplify. But there is a 5K race outside, dog sledding. Oh, there's going to be, I'm thinking the music will probably be indoors, but they will have vendors, other stuff going on outside, a chess tournament inside. Last year they did a Lego contest, and then the craft fair and some other things. So I think it'll be really fun. It'll be my first year, and yeah, I'll let you know in January how that goes and if I plan to do it next year again. So these are the types of events that I'm interested in at this stage in my life. So, yeah. Now, next onward to my makes and different things. Here's one. Let me just start with this since it's in my hand. Now, you may or may not remember this yarn that I showed is either at the beginning of this year, 2019, or the end of last year. And this is Lovecraft's Paint Box Chunky Pots. It looked kind of fun, and then I got it home, wasn't loving the texture too much, but the color combination, and that it's not evenly distributed, so you might get big blocks of one color and a little patch of another. It was just kind of odd. I remember someone, I'm sorry, I don't remember who it was, but commented that is kind of an odd color combination. Yeah, I agree. The texture, it's not real coarse, it's not like Super Saver coarse, but it's not real soft either. And to me, it's kind of a cross between Super Saver and maybe, if you're familiar with Hobby Lobby, I love this yarn here in the US, which is typically very soft. Some of the colorways can be a little hard, as colors can do, excuse me, to any yarn. So this is kind of a cross between those two. It has a little more texture to it. And the thickness is between, say, a number 4 worsted, like the Super Saber or Hobby Lobby, and a light chunky, so it's a little thicker. And I tried, as you can see, I tried a few different things. Scarf, didn't like the way it worked up. I tried it in a couple of different patterns. Now that I look back, I think like a corner to corner would have been okay for this. And then I started working on maybe a headband. It came out too narrow, and I don't like how the color's blocked either. See, so what I did was I had a pile of stuff on my desk, my chair. I thought, okay, I'm either going to make stuff with it this week, or I'm going to donate the whole pile. Done. It has to go. So I decided, all right, I'm just going to start making some things and see what I come up with. So I'm looking at this and studying it and trying to think, what could I do? And I'm seeing this gray in here. I thought, okay, it needs a neutral color, but one that's already in here to kind of bring it all together. So I took what I had, which was Red Heart Soft, and their light gray heather, and I combined the 2 yarns together, and I made this hat. Here's the gray heather, and then ta-da! I kind of like it with the orange on the side, and it came out pretty even. This is more of a youth to tween, teen size hat. I don't know if the pom-pom is too childlike or not, but what I did was I worked half double crochet in the front loop only. I did a chain, a long chain, so that would be from the top, the crown, down to below the ears, and then I doubled that length, so I would have a cuff. So okay, so if this goes below to the bottom of the earlobe, then I doubled that portion, so you still have that nice thick ear coverage. And then, so I did the chain, and then in the first and last stitch, I worked through both loops, and then on every other one going across and back and forth in each row, I worked it in the front loop only. And then until I measured, I thought that would be good for this particular size. And yeah, I like the way it worked up, thought it came out cute. And then I did a little border around it, which I kind of came up with. It's just a modified crab stitch version. Hope not too heavy, but anyway. What do you think? Think did I do all right? Turning this into this? Yeah. Hope so. I hope somebody will like that. And yeah, speaking of oddities, I got this buttercream yarn. It's Joanne in-house brand, and it's their, I don't know the name of it, but it's 80 acrylic, 20 alpaca. And I was going to make another big button cowl, one of Laurel from the Dabbling Hook, her patterns. And I like how this works up in it. I've used this yarn before, but this is a marled self-striping, and you know, I was a little aggravated earlier, so I was just stitching away and going back to my yarn therapy. And I wasn't really paying attention to how the striping was coming out, and then I got to my last row. And I looked at it, I'm like, okay, well this is weird. Check it out, how the yarn pooled. It pooled on one side only in the blue and the lighter gray. And then at the other end, it's just more of a taupey gray, browny, like beigey tone. So I thought, well maybe that won't be bad if I put it together. Perhaps. Yeah, well, don't look at the unsightly edge. Don't focus on that, please. Look at that. It looks like 2 different pieces that they, you know, sometimes that, you have 2 things that are opposite that come together that create a balance, that make a whole, like, you know, opposites attract with people, but to me, this just looks like 2 different completely things that don't belong. I'm sorry, I'm trying to get this straight in the camera. it's not really happening, but yeah, you get the picture, right? There we go. It's a little better. Yeah, so I don't know, what do you think? It's worse if we take the solid color and put it over, I think so. I don't know. What do you think? Should I take it apart? Maybe make a scarf instead? It's going to have to be worked, I think, vertically. Not my favorite. But if I do a cowl, perhaps, and a hat, it won't be so bad. Okay, so let me get that out of the way. Ooh, 2 points. I have 1 cake of mandala, Lion Brand. Not my favorite. For me, it's a little coarse. The texture, kind of fuzzy, but not in a good way. But the colors are so great. So this is the color Troll. I want to show these to you. If you love mandala, great. I'm not knocking you. I'm just saying it's my personal taste. Everybody has their own taste. And then Premier DK Colors, which I really like. It's very soft. It's anti-pilling, has a nice hand. So they're both number 3. And this was in all pinks. This is in the color Carnation. And here's the mandala Troll. And here are all the colors that came in that. Okay, so I want to show you. I'm showing you these, and I told you this was all pinks. So what I did. So I combined the 2 again because I wanted to have some things. I have to revamp my inventory a little bit and have some more things for, you know, the pint-sized people. I have things though that I'm not going to put a whole lot of time into because that really narrows the market as far as the people that are willing to pay, you know, for the time and yarn on that. So I thought the pinks and the carnation is very vibrant. I just did the corner to corner, and I combined started with the purple, the kind of the cobalt to the purpley blue end, and that worked with the brighter pink. I just pulled from each end. I really wasn't sure what I was going to do with all this yarn until I started working it up. And I just think that's fun, and it could even fit a more petite adult if someone really likes these, you know, wear these fun, bright, vibrant colors. And I wanted to make it a scarf and put fringe, but I ran out of yarn, so I thought, okay, well, then it has to be a cowl. And for an adult who might double it, it just goes right around the neck. So on those frigid days, keep you nice and warm. And then what I did with the rest from both cakes is I deconstructed them. And I took just the pinks only, and I mean, I'm working down to, you know, playing that chicken game with my yarn. So in my hat pattern that will be coming out next, so I did the little bit of the pink left over from the mandala, and then combined with the carnation, and then when I ran out of the mandala, I went just with the 2 Premier and finished it up. And then I found a little more mandala that was sitting aside I had forgotten about. So I grabbed that and combined with the last little bit that I had. So that way if someone wants a little set or not, that's fine. And then with the rest, I took, other than the bit of blue that I started with here, because from the swatch, so you can see that there's teal, there's lime green in here, and I had the blue left. So with that, I made this hat, and it's in the same pattern. This is the same pattern. So yeah, and again, I'll show you more in the actual video. And then what was the left over, I made a little shaggy little pom-pom and combined all those colors. So that was fun. That turned out cute, and I used all that yarn up. Stash busting. That's what I've been trying to do. And then, now I'm filling up. When I'm trying to bust, filling that back up again. And I did a little shopping at Hobby Lobby just to replace, and Michael's too, are right next to each other. Just to replace some of what I needed, and I I really don't keep much of the I Love This yarn on hand, and that I think is good, a good workhorse yarn. They have some really fun, vibrant colors, and it's soft enough, and I enjoy working with it. It has good stitch definition. I used it for a variety of things. You can use a real big hook and make it more drapey, or a smaller, tighter hook for certain hats. So I went in the other day specifically for just certain things to have in mind, with the exception of one, which is this. Have you seen this Antoinette yarn? It's a boucle yarn, and I've been looking at it, and I was going to get a couple different ones so that I can do two-tone, this really, really pretty vibrant blue and a solid. I thought that would make a very nice trim for it, but I thought, no, I'm just going to get one and try it and see if I like it. And it's very soft. It has a neat texture. If you can there, see that. But it doesn't. I've had some boucle yarn that snags on everything, even on skin. You have just a tiny little hangnail or cuticle, it just gets hung up. But I was so excited to try this, and then look at the end. I had to put a little slip knot in it because the ends started to fray, and as I just picked it up and just didn't even tug on it, I wasn't aggressive at all, but this whole tail end, and I don't even want to pull, because if I do, it just keeps coming apart and coming apart. So have you used this? Did you have this experience, same experience with it? Is this just kind of an isolated oddball sort of thing? And what did you wind up making? Did you like it? Was it frustrating? Well, I'll let you know, because I'm going to give it a try a little bit. And if I have any issues with it coming apart once I start stitching, then that's going to have to go back, because to me that, is a defective, not really acceptable kind of thing. So this is wrapping it up here. I just want to show you some of the colors I got for the little ones, and time allows. I have like 4.5 weeks left, but I have life in between and things going on, so I'm back to my juggling act for right now. But I hope that'll all come together. I want to make some more hats, maybe some mittens. So I got these two. I've been looking at these, I don't know if if it's too glary, for quite a while. And this is a print, and I thought, either one for the band and the rest for the head, and then what I do in the band, if I do a pom-pom, say like this could be the band and the pom-pom, and that could be the body, something like that. This one has this little dots flex. It's not tweed because it's actually part of the print itself. And this one's called Fruit Salad. And this one is Blossomopolis, okay, like blossom, Blossomopolis, okay. Wow, that's some imagination for that one, huh? Color 450, and this one is 444. And I already have the color Coralline, which is a very vibrant coral, and there's some orangey coral in here, so I thought that might kind of pop it too. And then I have a blue, solid blue. I don't have much in the way of solids in my stash at all, so they're really good to have. That would work with these. Also, one that I already have that I'm going to show in my hat video, that the blue goes with it. Oops. I'm not going to grab that right now. And then I got one, it's similar though. It's the same type of color blending, but in a different colorway. This has more like violet and blue, orange, really pretty. So I could even use the Coralline with this one. So I got with the couple that I had and a few new ones to mix and match. And this one is called Lollipop Love. And, oh, color 854. There we go. Hopefully that's showing up all right. So, see, lots of mixing and matching going on here. And then, hang on to that blue. So I didn't, this is kind of a solid, not solid. It's a stone wash, I believe. That's what it looks like to me. It says print. It's called Bright Violet, but they have their stone wash line. So you get highs and lows of the color, but it's still primarily solid, but it has enough change up that it gives some really nice interest. I thought these two will work together, and this even, you know, on its own. Like I could, you know, I could do mittens with the band in this and the body in that, or vice versa, or you know, the trim in this, the main body of it, or like the band and then the trim at the top. There are lots of options there. Did I already show you the blue with that? And then the last one, I thought, okay, we maybe need some camo for the guys, except this has purple in it. I don't know. Do you have any, like, you know, male teenagers? And I think just about anything goes. It's not dominantly purple, so we'll have to see how it works up. But the blue definitely, you know, goes with that. Maybe for the younger guys, they might pull it off. But I have it, so we'll see. And then a couple of others that I have leftovers that I could probably, you know, mix and match with these two. I think that covers it. This turned out to be a lot longer than I had planned. I thought I was just going to pop on for 15 minutes. I could have broken this up into a couple videos, but I had it all out. I want to put it away, so I thought might as well just come in, say hey, show you what's been up, what I've been up to, what's going on, what I have surrounded all around me, all this wonderful yarn to play with. But I'm ready to get that finished. I have a couple orders to do, and then want to relax, take it easy, let things simmer, catch up on some other life stuff, things that I have to take care of, and you know, start thinking of some new things for the new year. And I want to make a couple things for me. There's some really nice yarn and some ideas brewing. So let's see what comes to fruition. And in the meantime, I just want to wish everyone a happy, merry, whatever it is that you give thanks for and celebrate or rejoice in. The best to you and yours. Much health and happiness today and always. So please take care, my friends. And until next time, cheers, my virtual mug. Okay, bye. I'll see you soon.